We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet. Thank you for being with us as we come to you on a week-to-week basis. As we say, we're looking for the best of the best practices across the globe in 144 nations, and looking for those 1,000 best practices that are really making a difference in people's lives. And as we add 2 billion new people to the planet by 2050, how are we going to be able to take care of all those people so that we're enhancing and increasing their quality of life instead of just existing? And I have someone sitting right beside me that directly, indirectly is actually doing all that. This is Dr. Susan Leopold. She's Executive Director of the United Plant Savers. And welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to call you Dr. Leopold because I think that's a really good thing to do. You spent a lot of time getting your doctorate. But tell us a little bit about this United Plant Savers.
Yes. United Plant Savers was founded in 1994 by Rosemary Gladstar and a group of herbalists, and those that were in the herbal industry and were harvesters and growers. And there was concern that many of our native medicinal plants to the United States were actually being over-harvested for a rapidly growing herbal industry. So we, the organization formed under that mission as conservation of our native at-risk medicinal plants.
Now looking at that, you know, climate change is real.
Absolutely.
What some people are saying. And of course the rapid urbanization of people, more than 80% of the American population now live in urban areas. And so you have people think we have these vast areas, but of course more and more people are moving into woodlands and to marginal land that have never been lived in before. Does that impact on what you're trying to do as far as the herbs and the types of plants that can be used both for medicines and for food? Right,
absolutely. You know, our Appalachian Mountains are a biodiversity hotspot for medicinal plants, and that was noted in the 17 and 1800s when early plant explorers were discovering the incredible biodiversity. And what we've done is we've taken a path of resource extraction. And not only have we lost land to rapid growth of urbanization, but we've lost land to horrific choices such as mountaintop removal and many of the practices that we've allowed to happen through forestry management and logging of all our old growth forests. So we're facing kind of a catastrophic issue on multiple levels, you know, many spikes to the wheel, so to speak. So it's not just that these plants are being over-harvested, it's that we're facing literally an extinction crisis. And so global biodiversity is diminishing at a rapid pace.
Yeah, and this is something that's really important, and what people are finding is when you go into monocultures, you're taking out old growth trees and you're bringing in all, say, white pines, or you're bringing in all, you know, some kind of conifer, what have you. If you get a disease, you lose the whole forest. Instead of having this biodiversity, which actually helps to protect one to the other.
It's our intelligence. We're diminishing our planet's intelligence.
Yeah, and it's amazing how intelligent the plants are. And people listening to this will think this is kind of crazy. But they now found out that trees actually can communicate over hundreds of miles as long as the root systems are connected. But looking at all this, what are the different types of herbs and natural plants are either you're protecting, you're planting, or you're storing, so that we actually have this as a legacy, so that if some does disappear, then they can be planted elsewhere and then
It's right. So we have an at-risk and a to-watch list that is on our website, and so we're working in several different capacities. One capacity is we have a botanical sanctuary network. We have a botanical sanctuary in southern Ohio, 360-acre botanical sanctuary that has many of the Appalachian plants that we try to conserve: golden seal, ginseng, cohosh, to name those that are most popular. Anybody can join the sanctuary network. So we're building this kind of mycelium of plant conservation throughout the United States.
So it's almost like you have, if I can use this term, little lily pads. So you have people that are out there. They may have special land. It could be a farm that no longer has gone from dairy to beef cattle or whatever. And then they have these areas they can protect. And then that can become part of your sanctuary.
So our
how do you do that?
Well, we're a small organization, so our main mission is education and advocacy, and then we want to empower people to do something themselves. Often we can feel kind of overwhelmed. How can we do something? Feel helpless? How do we combat forces that seem greater than we can confront. And so the Botanical Sanctuary Network is something anybody can be a part of. You can read about it on our website, you can download the application, you can apply, and we kind of guide you through the process, which is assessing what kind of plants you may have on your land, and then what would be the right habitat to introduce those native medicinals that might thrive there, and then how do you plan to educate and do outreach in your community. And there is no right or wrong answer to those questions, so it's something that anybody can do and be a part of. And we have urban gardens to big pieces of land to 10-acre, there's no right or wrong. It's just about having the intention to want to be conscientious and aware of what plants are growing near you and how you can manage that resource.
Now, through Emerald Planet, and also I serve on another board,
Right.
which is the Natural Partners, and we're the ones that are actually helping to recreate the flyways for the monarch butterfly
Right,
from
yes.
Mexico all the way into
Right.
Newfoundland and Canada. So how could that be incorporated into what you're doing so that we're protecting the monarchs,
Right.
have the natural plants
Well,
that
it
they
just-
want, and then
yes.
also to get at the
I mean,
herbs and the
I think
trees?
anytime we can understand the native plants that are growing on our land and how to do a better job managing them. Certainly with the monarchs, they also need the medicine too, right? So many of the milkweeds, Asclepia tuberosa, a lot of plants that are also medicinal are also food for these butterflies.
Yeah, that's very important. I'm going to read this statement.
Okay.
This came right off
Okay,
of your
sure.
website, and what I want to do is just have you address this and about how this really fits into the schema all over across the United States,
Right.
whether you're a landowner or
Right.
you're in a 80-story high-rise in downtown Manhattan. This is all still important. And you say in your statement, these are exciting times for herbalists. We are witnessing the art of herbalism rapidly regaining its rightful place in the American tradition of health and healing.
Yeah.
So this is a very powerful statement.
It is.
So how does this really fit? How close is this to reality, or how close is this to what you're hoping to recreate?
I think what, certainly my hope is that as people rediscover herbal medicine, that they'll actually learn about these plants and where they come from, and that will be a window into conservation and more environmental awareness that we need. I often tell people that where the food industry was 20 years ago is where the herbal industry is today. So as no one thought 20 years ago there was going to be a rise in organic agriculture, local food systems, and now look at where we're at. So now medicine
and urban gardening.
Right.
Right.
And now in my feeling, herbal medicine is that next step in consciousness, because if we learn about these herbs, many of them are long-lived perennials. Many of them need prairies, many of them need woodlands. So now we're taking it up a notch. We're moving from just what we can grow in the field to how we can manage our forests and our prairies.
Now, looking at this as health and healing. Now,
Yes.
again, this is a very powerful statement.
Yes.
So looking at health and healing, people are sitting there and they're thinking, well, how can I, better my health?
Right.
In other words, don't, eat
Right.
desserts 3 times a day
Yes.
and drink sugary
Right.
drinks and all those things.
Right.
But you're talking about something that's much more profound than that.
Right.
That's important.
It is
but
important.
there's much more
There is
profound
much
in
more.
this in
Yes.
this statement.
Right.
Tell us what
Because-
that is.
Well, the healing is connecting to our environment, and often those plants that grow right in our own backyard are communicating with us. They're telling us things, whether it be dandelions or whether it be burdock or plantain. I mean, you can teach a child how to, heal the simplest wound by knowing what plantain looks like in their yard. So it's really a great opportunity. A hopeful sign about the rise in herbalism, as long as we can not just buy something off the shelf and not question what's in it, but actually be conscientious consumers about where our medicinal herbs come from.
Now, we're looking at this as being something it's all natural, hopefully organic, but it could be all natural,
Right.
and away from chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and all that, which unfortunately takes the
Right.
pollinators
Yes.
out out of the existence. But now we have the ability to create food in laboratories and test tubes and all these other kinds of things. And I've asked this question before. Why is it important to protect the herbs, even though we have somewhat of a continuum from ancient days to today, but now it seems to be a rising consciousness that we have with the connection between the earth, herbs, trees, all these other kinds of things. So why do you think now, in the 21st century, that people are feeling this connectedness?
I think...
or maybe I should say want to feel the connectedness.
Right, because they feel disconnected, they're looking for the connection. The ecosystem is sick, just like we're sick. So there's a deep connection and awareness that needs to happen. So when we discover what we need to be healthier individuals, it kind of falls in tandem with what the ecosystem needs. So that's the deeper connection.
Yeah.
You know?
And what we're saying is that really we're healing ourselves as human beings. Hopefully we're sharing that with the animals around us and all plants, because they're a being like we are. But at the same time we're healing the earth. Is that what you're saying?
That's what my hope is for people when they start to discover herbal medicine, that they realize that deeper connection of being out in their environment and connecting with those plants that grow close to them. And we're also seeing a big change in ownership of land across the United States.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge as the baby boomers are passing on, and it's going to younger generations.
So we're also teaching cultivation through conservation. We're trying to bring awareness to how a younger generation that's learning about how to manage their forest lands can grow these medicinal plants in their woodlands.
There's one question I promised to ask you. Green business creation, small green business creation, and green jobs. How does that fit into this? And we have to be quick because we're almost out of time.
Well, I do want to mention the Appalachian Beginning Forest Farmers Coalition, and that what we're trying to do is empower people to use these plants, to see small businesses and to see a green economy come about that incorporates the non-timber forest products of our forests.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that you can't necessarily outsource either. So if you have the land, and it grows right there, and then that can go into the farmer's market or go into the greater market.
Right, we need to see the forest beyond just timber.
Yeah. Where do you see your organization, United Plant Savers, going over the next 5, 10, 15 years? And we got to be quick. We only have about 15 seconds.
Where do I see our organization going? Well,
next 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, I definitely see our organization growing. We're building the Center for Medicinal Plant Conservation at our sanctuary in Ohio, and we hope people come and see us and learn about how to be stewards of these healing herbs.
Fantastic. This is Dr. Susan Leopold. She's the Executive Director of the United Plant Savers, something that's very important as we have these archives for the future. And thank you for being with us as we're looking around the globe as we work to create the Emerald Planet.